Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
I was watching a Steve Dangle video.
Oh, don't do that.
A Steve Dangle video from, I think it would have been 3 years ago? 3-ish years ago?
Based on your description, 2013-14 season.
Well, is that the season that was shortened?
That was the season after the season that was shortened.
Okay, so it was that one. So it would be September 2013. So not all that long ago. It was God, less than 4 years ago.
Okay.
And the title of the video is LFR season preview, What is this team? Which is not a great way, I don't think, not a great way to start. And you have to remember that at this time the podcast had actually started, right?
Yes.
So we had started it. You were talking actually at the end of it about this new podcast that you have that you only did once a week, that you were going to up to two times a week.
Whoa.
Because the regular season was coming, which is where that tradition started.
And let me guess, I talked about the Leafs like a scientist at the beginning of a movie where a natural disaster happens.
Well,
Look! You can't just keep... Look, okay? If we don't change what we're doing, it's all gonna go wrong! Well, okay there, Mr. Scientist. Nice theory.
my favorite first thing was that you were like, well, Bernier didn't look too bad last night in his Leafs debut in the preseason. Saw 15-16.
Bernier's debut season with the Leafs was good.
He was very good. And he said, the one thing the Leafs do have is depth and goal. And
They did.
Quite honestly, it was the thing that carried them to the cliff that they fell off of at the end of the season. But but my favorite was when you went through the defense,
Oh, dear.
where our top pairing was Dion Phaneuf and Carl Gunnarsson,
Hey.
followed closely by Jake Gardiner and Mark Fraser.
Oh.
And then I
Oh, my
believe
God, I forgot.
there was John Michael Lyles and Paul Ranger. And Morgan Riley, you didn't think, you weren't really blown away with Morgan Riley at that point.
Wow.
But it
That's funny.
was pretty early on. I mean, let's be fair.
He had to grow on me because I've said it a few times. Like, I was in Scotland during the 2012 draft, and I stayed up really late to watch who the Leafs would pick. And they picked Morgan Riley, and I was devastated. I was so sad because I didn't want them to pick him. He played like 17 games in his draft year. The hell? Why did they pick this guy fifth? Fifth overall?
Not bad. Not bad now.
Yeah, he ended up being pretty good.
Also, you got to check out on the Steve Dangle podcast channel the vlog, the first vlog in Steve Dangle and Steve Dangle podcast history.
Whoa!
Which is crazy.
First vlog. First vlog.
Jesse, you watched it. How would you describe it?
Incredibly awkward at sometimes.
Did you like the end?
Yeah, when you zoomed in on all our faces, it was amazing. No, it was a lot of fun watching back the moments because you don't get to relive your vacation.
There was
Well, not
footage I
vacation,
hadn't
but-
seen yet.
Yeah,
And I'm coming across it, editing it, and it's taken me forever because I'm just like watching it. Like, oh, me.
We didn't take enough video. Like
Well, my phone was dead. Like the
no,
whole
no,
game.
and it's not your fault either. It's just like all of us wanted to actually enjoy the moment rather than be like a YouTuber and always be recording at every because that's what vlogging is, right?
I think we took a video at the right moments because we took it at the boring parts. The parts
That's
where
how
we
you
should
vlog.
be the parts where we should be doing things, we were doing things.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the
Shouldn't
parts
be invasive.
where people
At my
are
aunt's wake.
Yeah. The part where Steve is going to the washroom, where we're just at the airport eating, then you can video because nothing's really going on. We did it the anti-vlogger way.
Shout
It
out
was
to
cool.
everybody. There was a few people that said I have a delicious ass, so thank you for that in those terms.
Now you know.
And then everybody else who said it was so bad I wanted to vomit, please do another. I'm sure we will one day. I'm sure the next road trip that we take, we will do another vlog, but this is not something we're going to do regularly because it's...
Can't wait.
Oh my God.
My voice has still not fully regenerated from that trip.
No, it was a lot of yelling.
It was a lot of yelling.
A lot of yelling. Yeah.
It was a good time. Good time.
Speaking of which, a lot of yelling tonight. I think Pittsburgh fans are coming to play.
Woo!
I'm putting my
Pittsburgh!
I'm putting my my thinking cap on and thinking that Pittsburgh doesn't like being challenged at the top of their mantle there. They don't like all that. Listen, they're not used to the spotlight not being on them.
No, you know what it is? what I've really enjoyed about the past couple games is how unbelievably self-aware Penguins fans are. No, I'm serious. Do you think I'm being sarcastic? I think they're self-aware. A lot of them. The ones I follow. So maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know. The weather guy at KDKA certainly was not self-aware.
Okay, let's separate Penguins fans from Penguins water carriers.
Okay.
/ weathermen. Penguins fans.
More like a water predictor.
What? Man, if there was only Kermit could just go across the screen right now.
Maybe I'll edit that in.
Please do. It might be copywritten. Who knows? We have to check into that.
I get banned from YouTube.
Yeah. Banned from YouTube from being too extreme.
Guys, we got banned from YouTube. Banned from YouTube. We should be like every other YouTuber and talk about like they cut our ad revenue.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they did.
Yeah. But let's do several videos about this.
And talk about how unfair the whole process is.
Yeah.
It sure sucks. Life sure is unfair. Duh.
No, there is something to it, but I just don't want to hear it for 15 minutes of video for several
The people who
videos.
sit in front of their camera and make videos for a living really sure have a hard life.
Yeah, that would be like somebody, honestly, every time I watch those videos, it would be like somebody losing their job and then creating a video about how unfair it was that they lost their job.
Well, and now they got to make a video about everything.
Yeah.
Like they got to make twice as many videos to get any money.
You mean they have to work every day?
Whoa.
I'm sorry, is that?
But
what's their work?
I mean, listen.
Stop making fun of FouseyTube, guys. Do you guys?
Is that what we're making? I don't pay enough attention.
He's
Don't give
these people shout
Oh no! Don't give the person with millions. Millions.
Antonio.
Stop punching up, guys. It's literally like me going, ha!
You over here with your 60K subscribers, and everybody else is like, yeah, I have 1.6 million.
They already got their
subscribers.
double platinum play button.
The ones that what I have noticed in the YouTube community is they sure do not like each other.
No, they all hate each other.
It's literally like Drake and Meek Mill everywhere all the time, except for like the top ones. Like I interviewed, what was her name? Jenna Marbles is one.
Yeah.
That she doesn't really take shots at people. Grace Helberg. Did I get that right? Oh my God, what was her name? What was her name? I interviewed her last week, and this is terrible, and I'm terrible with names.
Gabby?
Grace Helbig. She doesn't take shots at people. She's a YouTube comedian. But like you find that the people in the Steve Dangle range, they're at each other.
People in the Steve Dangle range because they're all trying to make a name for themselves.
I don't blame them.
And I'm at a constant war with myself, so I don't need to fight with anybody.
It's just an internal war.
It's just all the time. So self-aware
self-aware Penguins fans.
They get that they are the most hated team in the National Hockey League.
Is it them or is it the Blackhawks? Is it Pittsburgh because they have Crosby and he is clearly the best player?
It shifts from moment to moment. If the Blackhawks were in the final, it might be them. That would be an interesting final. Chicago-Pittsburgh. Who would you cheer for and who would you hate? And that'd be pretty interesting. But because Pittsburgh gets all these things, they're the reigning champions. So you're automatically the Death Star as the reigning champions. But you've been this powerhouse for so long now. And I know it seems like just the other day when, the team was going to move to Hamilton, but that's in the past now. And you've had Crosby and Malkin, etc. for like a decade, more than a decade. Your first cup in this era was 2009. You won one last year, and you might win another this year. You're 2 wins away from it. Yeah, people don't like you. And the whole Sidney Crosby diving thing and crybaby whining. The Penguins have been at the center of so many controversies as the offender and as the victim of hits. And freaking Matt Cook got investigated.
They've just been stories. They've been so many stories about the Penguins.
So many stories, yes. And a lot of teams hate them, understandably. And they get it, though. They get it, and that's good. And I think they're sick. They're sick of this gosh gee Willikers, aren't they so lovely story that we have going with the Nashville Predators.
You mean the underdog story? That always sells?
They are so not the underdog, though. And I wish people would figure that out.
They're the 8th seed.
Not only are they the 8th seed, Adam, they're the 16th seed. I believe they had fewer points than the Leafs.
Wow.
And they were the second.
For
they're
some
the
reason, I
worst
thought the Leafs
team to make the playoffs.
I thought the Leafs were the worst team to make the playoffs.
They're
Wow.
16th, yeah.
The only reason the Leafs are picking 17th is because the Preds made it to the conference final. So otherwise, they'd be picking 18th.
So if the Leafs had, if they'd made it this far, if they'd made it to the finals against the Predators, like I predicted in my chart, which I was half
The
right
Leafs
about.
would have home ice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Seriously. So in that sense, they're the underdog. But how about they've been better than that this entire time? They swept the Blackhawks.
It's limited them to 3 goals.
Yeah. And the Penguins are like a corpse featuring Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. And like, again, a corpse version of the Penguins could still make the playoffs and maybe even win the division. But think of how many players they have that are missing or playing broken.
Which means if they win, it makes it all the more impressive. I think.
Absolutely.
And no one will
I think
give them that due.
This year's win is so much more impressive than last year's, in my opinion. Which last year's they had injuries too. They have not played a game with Chris Letang. You see him on the ice? That was pretty fun. All these little whispers that he might play. He's not going to play.
No, he's not.
That guy's busted. Nick Bonino's a game time decision. How do you go from being on crutches to just put me in? Like, do you just have a metal boot? Do you walk around like a Marine from StarCraft?
Is there a way to I bet you could like put a brace on the ankle underneath a skate. Could you wear one skate size too big and have a brace on underneath it? Is that allowed?
That's a great question. Oh, to have 2 different size skates?
Probably.
I feel like you maybe risk wrecking yourself.
Cares, man.
on
It's
a
the
turn.
cup. I think more than a few people have risked themselves trying to win this thing.
Well, now here's the next question. Is busted Nick Bonino better than whoever the fill-in is?
And I don't know who that would be.
I don't think it's possible. And if you're that fill-in guy, how are you not like, Coach, I'm better than the guy on crutches. I'm better than the guy who can't skate. Come on. Gee, I would request a trade in the offseason, obviously. But that would feel, imagine how crappy you would feel as the guy who you can't help us win in the Stanley Cup final. We're going to put in friggin' Cratchit.
Stop talking about Frankie.
Oh, that's not even who
Is he injured? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Can we just check the...
No, he's not.
He's not.
No.
They're so busted. Justin
And
Schultz with his
Frank
broken
Corrado's
ribs.
not playing yet?
No. And,
With all the defense that have gone down for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
and the guys who are playing hurt. We saw Brian Dumoulin get hit in the first shift of Game 3, and he went down.
If the Penguins win the Cup, you have to play at least one playoff game to get him?
He's not. His name's not there.
Corrado,
He gets a ring. Well, that's cool.
did he play a game for the Penguins?
He did play a
No,
game.
you can hand out rings. You can just give them to people.
I don't think
And he
would
did
get
play a
ring.
game for the during the regular
he-
season.
Because like all your staff gets ring. The trainers get rings. He gets a ring.
Now the Penguins are going to have to move again. Those rings are $20,000 each, and they've had 96 players play for them this year. What's 96 times $20,000? Congrats, Hamilton. Congrats.
They're just gonna too many championships. We bankrupted ourselves.
Yeah, the Flames are off the hook.
That's amazing.
All those other teams,
Oh,
Quebec, Seattle.
Oh, the Flames. We'll talk about them. They're the
So,
second lead story.
Anyway, Penguins fans, I do feel for you a bit. Not that much, because you're the reigning champions.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just
The what-
bonus fun time.
The Penguins fans that listen to this show are very self-aware. The ones that I've dealt with. I've never dealt with
We have smart listeners.
a cantankerous Pens fan who's like, "Hey, I'm upset. You threatened my honor." They're like, "Yeah, we win a lot.
Dishonor on your cow.
Yeah,
Yeah. I get it.
it's never like they never are a problem. Never. Chicago fans too. They're like, "Adam, every time you diss Corey Crawford, I die a little inside, but I still really like you, and I got all these cups."
Yeah, that's how you know we can't even hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Now in Toronto, we're used to if you're a Pens fan and you're not used to being hated. Toronto, that's how it is. Whether we suck or we're good, everybody hates us anyway. So it's just kind of a reality that we deal with.
It's two opposite ends of the spectrum. With the Blackhawks and Penguins, it's you suck. We don't, but that's fine. And then the Leafs, you suck. We know.
Most of the time, yeah.
This whole being good thing, like that's If you see some Leaf fans unsure of what to say, that's why.
Oh my God. Okay, if you see some Leafs blogs unsure of what to say right now, they
don't know what to do with my hands.
Some of the blogs I've seen lately, there's no need to call them out by name because I don't want to start any wars. They've just been, they're in some insane, but good insane because it's optimism, which is great. Optimism is good. It's nice not to have a bunch of blogs about how terrible this player is and a terrible decision that management made and whatever. And some with some legitimately good ideas, but some I'm like, wow. Okay, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Let's just bring it back to reality. Yes, they could do that crazy thing that you're suggesting. Or they could play it pretty conservatively, which I think they've done.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm having a legitimately hard time writing these days.
Why?
I'm having a hard time writing, and I talked to some people about it, and they are too. Because, well, there hasn't been... The last bit of Leaf news was Callie Rosen and...
Andreas Borgman!
Thank you, Andreas Borgman. I was trying to think of his first name. Signing with the team.
So when he scores, you have to say, Borg.
You have been assimilated.
That's right.
That's going to be my thing.
That's the Preds coming out.
Yeah, Borgman. So there was that. And then before that, there was what?
There was Brian Boyle at the trade deadline.
There hasn't been allowed the Dubas news.
Yeah.
Which was still a big old pile of speculation and nothing.
Yeah. But the word is from Elliott that he was going to run the whole organization, the whole shebang.
Cool. Like there's still and okay, so wait, is that new that you just heard?
Newish. I think it's in the last 10 days, probably the last 30 thoughts that came out.
So am I going to write about Kyle Dubas again? Or wait for something to happen? Or theorize about what's going to happen with the Leafs regarding Vegas? No, okay, I already wrote about that. Who's going to be their backup goalie? No, I already wrote about that.
Why can't you just chill and just not write about
Well, I already get chirped enough for not doing my job.
He does get paid to blog.
But write about something that's not Leafs.
Well, okay, so I can write about Vegas. I've already written about who Vegas's goalie is going to be. Okay, and what's there on the bone with Vegas? It's all fantasy. It's fantasy camp.
But
nothing has happened.
But those clicks, baby, that's what you're after.
But I don't want to do a cheap. The Vegas Golden Knights are going to get Kovalchuk and Ovechkin, and all the Russians who are going to go to the Olympics are going to play for Vegas instead. And Team Russia is going to be Vegas, and they're going to win.
Just like you take all those selfies for likes on the gram. Because we know all those sexy selfies you take, all for likes on the gram.
Are my Vegas articles me arching my back?
I think so.
And doing that.
And don't forget to include a One Direction song quote.
Are the Golden Knights the sink? Don't act like you don't know. Don't act. Stop it.
Oh, okay. So
stop it.
Should be a fun game tonight. I'm genuinely pumped.
Me too.
Genuinely pumped.
Me too. I hope you're listening to this during the show.
We don't want to get too much into it because honestly, by the time you're listening to this, it's out of date.
But I think that Penguins fan conversation was relevant. I
think so.
Win or lose, it's rare in the Stanley Cup final that you get the world going for one team and against another. Like, when was the last time we really, really, truly had that? I want to say like everyone was going for Boston when they played Vancouver.
Yep.
I think.
All of the city of Calgary, which I had just moved to, was cheering for Boston in their Calgary Flames jerseys. They hated Vancouver so much.
Absolutely. A lot of people from Vancouver got mad at that LA Kings tweet when the Kings were playing the Canucks in the first round and they knocked them out. Like, hey, rest of Canada, you're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Canucks fans got mad at that, but the rest of Canada was like, we see you, Kings. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. That was awesome. Everyone's going for the Preds. No one's going for the Penguins except Penguins fans. So if you win this year, I think you are going to enjoy it a whole hell of a lot more than you did last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? At this point, there's 3 games left in the season. We should just all sit back and enjoy the fact.
3 games max.
3 games max. And like that's crazy to think, right? Like we've gone...
Best case scenario, we have 3 games left.
Wow.
Best case.
And what a season it's been. It's been great.
Worst case, we have 2.
PK Subban tweeted that he tweeted out an ad, and I believe Listerine is now paying him to endorse their product, which is amazing.
That's hilarious.
But I wondered if the bad breath controversy
oh dear
came from something else. Do you remember a Like, I wonder if this is, and this could be a complete coincidence, but do you remember this interview with Pierre Maguire?
It's not good, eh?
No, I meant in terms of conditioning.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, obviously, it's a fast game out
Let
there.
me play that one more time.
How's your breath? It's not good, eh?
No, I meant in terms of conditioning.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, obviously, it's a fast game out there, and, you know, you just catch your breath and go back at it.
It's been fun watching. Keep having fun, Phil.
Thanks, eh? I can't believe that.
Kessel it's amazing.
First time we ever saw him laugh was in Pittsburgh.
I know. It's amazing that guy is a pro athlete. I love it. Not just a pro athlete, but a good one. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And good little funny moment with Pierre Maguire, who I rip on all the time, and I'm starting to feel bad because I've never even met him. But so you think Sidney Crosby was saying PK has bad
I was
conditioning?
just like, isn't it interesting that, you know,
Once again,
one of the most famous moments from last year had to do with breath, and then it's again the Penguins this year. I don't know.
I think it's just funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't have anything
I don't
to do
think
with
there's
it.
no there.
good breath is important.
Yeah.
That's what
true.
I
That
love.
is true. That is true.
Figuratively and Listerine-ly? I don't know.
You ever kiss someone with bad breath?
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's good.
Wow, you know when you fly too close to the sun sometimes. Well, I can tell you I have. Definitely
I'm
have.
married. I've been like, you just have a burger? Yeah. And I don't mind. I like burgers. But, I mean, if I were to do it, it might be offensive to her.
You know, it's funny.
There's some onions on that burger.
It's only the good kinds of burgers have onions. Red onions, too? Oh, they're extra stinky. What's the worst stink? I think it's green lasts longer. Anyway, continue.
They've done studies on human beings and smell specifically.
Oh.
And with if you smell someone and you're like, I am not into their smell, I like them, but I'm not into their smell, it's harder for you to bond with them than it is with somebody who you don't even notice. Strangely enough.
Are they called pheromones?
I think so.
I believe.
I think so.
Yes.
And
I've read things about, like, we've lost our ability to detect certain pheromones, but, like, we still do. If you ever have a weird feeling about someone,
trust your gut.
it might be that.
Might be that.
Here it is. Pheromone. A chemical substance produced and released into the environment by an animal, especially a mammal, affecting the behavior or psychosis of others of its species.
That's a
and
real
word
term.
I can't pronounce.
Let me see this word.
Well, the reason I bring that up.
Physiology?
Physiology.
Physiology. I was scared to say it. I'm not a good reader.
Well, I'm not a good reader. So legitimately, PK Subban's pheromones may not mesh with Sidney Crosby, right? And vice versa. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of signs that should suggest. And I don't know if you've ever, when you fall in love with somebody, everything they smell like you like. Like, I didn't notice Caprice had bad breath for at least like a couple years, and then one time I was like, wow. Her breath isn't the greatest tonight, but really, it's never that bad. It's just never that bad. Now, I think I had a burger early on, and she was like, "Whoa, that was aggressive. I'm still gonna kiss you because we're in that we just fell in love stage, and it doesn't matter." But now it'll be like, "Hey, want to wash your mouth out?" Yeah,
Here's the tweet, by the way. It'll be in the video.
Sponsored
Prep.
game prep. I love it. I love it.
It's awesome.
It's brilliant. And hey, look, PK Subban stupid. Big. Guess what? Cash. There's a reason that Listerine's green. PK knows what he's doing, you clowns. Get on board. Stop criticizing him and get on board with what he's doing.
Steve.
Oh, it's a distraction.
It's a
Guess what? They just
distraction.
won the last 2 games of the Stanley Cup Final. He's 2 games away from the whole thing. Win or lose, PK Subban knows what he's doing. Get on board or get behind him. Yes, Adam.
Getting away from actually playing the game of hockey and the fan support and all the fun things, let's talk business, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah! Let's talk about Key Arena in Seattle.
Should we do this after we take a brief break?
Yes, we should.
Okay.
Key Arena in Seattle, next. Don't forget to smash that like button.
Tell that like button that it owes you money.
Right now. Now.
All right.
Hey, does that help non-live videos on YouTube?
I don't know. I
Like,
think
if you smash
it
the like
does.
button?
I feel like ads would be less. The ads wouldn't be as good on a video with like half dislikes.
Oh, so every Justin Bieber video does not get great advertising because people just go
Wow.
trolls just go on there and unlike it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I think his video was it Baby or the one with Ludacris? The was that the one? No, Ludacris.
What do you
Yeah,
thinking of?
the song Baby with Ludacris
Okay.
Yeah.
was for a while the most unliked YouTube video of all time.
Instead of like a shoe or like a restaurant or a beer, it would be like get your credit rating.
Yeah,
That's the video with Drake when he was a young kid. He was in that video, and they're all bowling.
what?
And
Drake's
Justin-
in that?
Yeah, and
Drake is not in the Baby video.
Yeah, he's there with Lil Twist and Drake.
Who is, by the way,
in the bowling scene.
Leech, Lil Twist. Living with Justin Bieber got him in all that trouble.
I legitimately don't know who that is.
Oh, well, the internet does. He's got over
How
a million
dare
followers.
you? Lil Twist is important.
Name a
to
song that Lil
society.
Twist came out with.
If he were to buy some land, would it be Plot Twist?
Oh, wow. I got to applaud that, man. That was good. That was good.
Or would it be the Twist Plot?
What is
Seattle's Key Arena. It's a key to this story, you might say.
Whoa.
And the next story we're going to talk about, which has to do with the Calgary Flames. Now, what we know from Sonics Rising, which is a blog from SB Nation.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Drake's in it.
Found it. Anyways, that'll be on the video as well.
What happened to No New Friends? Anyway.
Well, they're from Toronto, so they're friends.
Also, 2009.
SB Nation has a Sonics Rising page for a team that does not exist.
Justin Bieber's was born an hour and a half away from Toronto.
Let's talk about Bieber more.
Basically, the Oakview Group.
Why did he wear the wrong jersey? Let's dwell on that. Is he going to get a Seattle jersey too? The
He might.
Seattle Flames? Anyway.
Which would be the worst name for a Seattle team, considering all the rain they get. That would just
There's so many lakes in Los Angeles. It's crazy.
and they're all empty.
All that jazz in Utah.
They don't get all that. That's true. What like
We-
They
We've
came
had
from
this-
we've done this before.
Oh, it was Memphis?
Yeah.
I was like, if I had to associate any city in the United States with jazz, how many cities would I get through before I got to Utah?
The Utah, something of wives or something like
Oh,
that.
bunch of wives.
Bunch of wives. Yes. That was a good episode.
So Gary Bettman said this.
It was.
All right. We got to get to this. Oakview Group, headed up by Tim Lywicki. And apparently Jerry Bruckheimer is looking to be an owner of a team in Seattle. Billionaire businessman David Bonderman, who the league has confirmed they are talking to, and mogul Jerry Bruckheimer from all your favorite movies are looking to be owners of probably an NHL and an NBA team jointly. I would imagine, considering the Oakview Group is Tim Lywicki, he worked with MLSE, and he also worked with the Lakers organization and that sort of thing in LA, which has a lot to do with where the Kings are right now. They understand that a combo sport is a much better deal than just owning just one franchise,
Yes.
right? In one sport. You have a lot more power in the city. You have a lot more economic opportunities, a lot more things to partner on that you
Flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. So it just makes a lot more sense. If you're going to do one, do both.
Jerry Bruckheimer is also a huge hockey fan.
Yes.
He plays in like a rec league with Joey Vendetta, who's on this station, the Fan 590 out in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So yeah.
And
Huge
probably
hockey fan.
Bieber a couple times. They probably all
Yeah.
go out to that same one.
Dave Boreanaz and all the other celebrities who know
go-
how to skate well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly Dave Boreanaz.
Well, Alan Thicke, before he passed, I think this said
Yes.
last episode, he played every week.
There you go.
Now,
Dave Boreanaz.
here's what Gary Bettman had to say. If Seattle sorts out the building arrangement and somebody actually puts a shovel in the ground, my guess is that there will be people knocking on the door saying, we'd like to have a team play in that buildings. If and when that happens, then we'll focus on it and decide if we have interest in expanding, and if we have interest in expanding to Seattle. Beyond that, there is no reason for anyone to think a team is imminent right now in Seattle. We haven't made any commitments to Seattle. We're not making any commitments to expand, and we are not planning on moving anybody.
There's the key.
That last sentence is good.
Yes, because there were a couple little whispers yesterday with Brian Burke that maybe the Flames could be on the move. And then with that story breaking so close to the Seattle thing, some people put 2 and 2 together. And it seemed interesting.
Would you like to hear the actual audio from Brian Burke speaking?
I want to hear...
It's 5 minutes long, but would you like to hear it?
The whole thing?
Well, there's some interesting conversations that he says. And I having lived in Calgary, can give you a little bit of a local spotlight on that. But
Is it Rogers, the audio?
yeah, it's Sportsnet.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess use it.
All right, here. We'll make our way through it. Oh, no, because Twitter videos always start on mute, and then you rewind them, and they autoplay right away, and they're annoying as hell.
What is the reason for that?
I don't know. That's why half of our videos are clipped, and that's why the Phil Kessel one didn't work the way I was hoping. So that's great. Thanks, Twitter. Let's go.
Our view is that the Calgary Flames don't need a new building. Our view is that the city of Calgary needs a new building. And frankly, when we put out Calgary Next, I was personally amazed that the city didn't say, thank you, let's do it. And I don't know if a group of taxpayers, one place is smarter than the taxpayers elsewhere. They've just decided a different point of emphasis, that there's value to these franchises. There's value to what they bring. I mean, if you do the withholding or do the mathematics on the withholding, just on the basis of a $73 million cap US, so say that's 100 million Canadian, players in Calgary will leave behind in withholding provincially and federally close to half that.
Anyway, it gets really boring from there. And then there's a guy who steps up and says,
Because I was really concentrating hard to get all that.
Here's what I'm gonna play this last part for you because I think it's interesting.
I think the response to the community in Calgary, to our economy, with regard to us, has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you're saying you don't care if the Calgary Flames leave.
So a guy stepped up and said, I don't care if you leave, you got nowhere to go. To Brian Burke.
No, I'm not necessarily saying that.
Well,
Where would they go?
I don't know.
Who else is going to pay $200? Like, we had some of the highest average ticket prices in the NHL. They're top 10. Right?
And you don't think we could find a place to go? You're with a straight face. You're saying that.
Yeah, I am. What do you mean? What about Seattle?
Let's see Quebec. Let's see. Oh yeah, they have a brand new building that meets NHL standards. Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah.
Okay, you just said we had nowhere to go.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, if your attitude is, if I get this.
We don't like being under the...
But before we get through the rest of this exchange,
I believe
sorry.
that person is a season ticket holder. He's giving a luncheon. It's a luncheon at the Canadian Club of Calgary.
Oh, so that's what this was. Did the president of the Calgary Flames just say, guess what, idiot? We could easily move to Quebec.
Yes. Yes, he did. And I believe it's, and is it Phil King? President of the Flames?
Has Brian Burke lost his mind?
The funny thing is, after he said all of this stuff, which was basically, hey, give us a new arena or we're shipping out of town, the Flames' CEO put out a statement saying he basically disagreed with everything Burke said.
Now,
he said,
that's who I'm talking about. That's King, right?
Yeah. Can I read part of the statement?
Is it Phil? What's his name?
Phil King? I don't know his first name. It's King.
King.
He said...
Outranks president.
Brian Burke runs hockey operations for the Calgary Flames, and he and many Calgarians have strong views about this topic. However, he is not our spokesperson regarding a new event center for our city. We remain committed to our dialogue with the city and are very optimistic we will get to a positive conclusion.
So, let me ask, what on God's green earth was that?
Well,
What was that?
We're not even done. You want to hear the rest?
Yeah, before.
Well, wait a second. What Ken King said was,
Ken King.
we're not going to make a threat to move. We're just going to move if we don't get the deal we need. And you're saying that's fine.
No, I'm not saying that it's fine.
Well, you just said Murray Edwards should pay for the building himself.
It's an option. But anyways, I won't debate you on it. Thank you for answering my question.
Well, no, let's just go back. So let me just focus on the withholding on the players and.
So anyway, he's talking about like withholding and how much tax revenue that creates and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you about the Albertans. Okay? From being out there, they don't like paying taxes. It's the lowest tax rate in the country. And there's a reason why people out there want it that way. It's because they make a lot of money out there. The ticket prices are high. Your speeding tickets are high. The prices for that are high. Everybody gets ticketed in Calgary. That's how you pay taxes. They don't want to pay for this arena. They don't want to pay for it. The problem is that the owners of the Calgary Flames are not responsible totally for the new arena. And I'm somebody who's against public funding for most arena projects, but I'll tell you why in this case I think there should be a constructive deal done. I don't think it should be like what happened in Detroit. I definitely don't think it should be like what happened in Atlanta, which was crazy. What a bad deal that was with the baseball stadium. But in this particular case, Garth Brooks played, I think it was 12 shows, and Brian Burke talks about it. 12 shows in Edmonton. Not one of them made it to Calgary.
Why is that?
Because the arena can't handle it.
So
Taylor Swift
So I'm trying
skipped.
to remember.
AC/DC skipped. This
is the conversation we had before.
Yeah, they go
to Edmonton and not Calgary.
They play 2 shows in Edmonton, and they did that.
I thought it was the other way around.
They did that at Rexall. That was like before Rogers Place even opened.
So
Rogers,
they do Edmonton
Rogers Arena
instead of Calgary.
The Rogers one in Edmonton. You know, Rogers Place, right? Rogers Arena. Rogers
There's
Arena.
too many.
Rogers,
Sure.
man.
Rogers Edmonton.
I understand what he is saying, right? I understand what he is saying, and here's the thing:
I don't think anyone's debating that whether or not they need a new arena.
Public money has also gone in to fund other works of this nature that are smaller. So they have a new, I believe the new Canadian Centre for Music is in downtown Calgary, right near where I used to live. Sure. And public money went into that. And he's saying, listen, this is an entertainment venue. And this is a city that has a fair amount of wealth. And if we had a constructive deal, he's saying 10 years from now, it will have paid for itself.
But that's not true.
Well, I mean, again, I haven't looked at the business plan. They do need a new arena.
Yeah.
They do need a new arena.
No one's disagreeing with that, but using taxpayer money to pay for the arena doesn't help the taxpayers.
What if they cover it in solar panels?
Oh, they wouldn't like that because that's
oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
In this article I had open here, it said Burke hammered in the old lie that building a stadium has any real economic impact on a city. A lie disproven by every single study not funded and directed by teams looking for corporate handouts.
That's a good point. Now, the interesting part about this is that if the Flames did leave, and this is the angle that I have not seen covered, and I just thought about it this morning, and tell me if I'm crazy. Let's say the Flames leave. Say they go to Quebec next season. Okay?
Sounds like they would run into a lot of similar problems in Quebec.
Starting in Quebec, they're there. It's a smaller city.
Yes.
Less income.
Smaller surrounding area too, I think.
Yeah, less disposable income. And they'd have a good team. They definitely have a good team. But remember that Canadian teams, to hit cap, which the Flames are, have to pay $100 million Canadian. Right? It's not $73 million American. It's $100 million Canadian. So it's
actually, yeah, it's pretty close to that.
And they are smaller markets than the American teams, right?
What did the Leafs pay this year?
Crazy.
In actual dollars.
Somebody do the math. It's going to be bananas. So that's already on the table there. The other thing is that you are leaving a fan base that has, in their economic hardship, because it's not been easy out there the last few years, you're leaving them right at the point where they're at their lowest point. And their season ticket subscriber base has not fallen. A lot of what season ticket holders are doing, because the price hasn't gone down, is so Steve and I'm a season ticket holder. I need help hanging on to mine. Steve, you come in and you get half the games and I get half the games. That's what they're doing. And Brian Burke mentions that in this press conference.
Isn't that what a lot of people do?
Mm-hmm. Well, it is what a lot of people do, but like it's a luxury spend. Yeah. I don't think the money's there in Quebec the same way it is in Calgary, or the potential's there. I also think...
Well, and this is a guy who was against a second NHL team in Toronto.
Yeah, I also don't think you can go to the East because you can't be 17-15 in terms of conference.
Well, and also, beyond all that...
Seattle.
Yeah.
Gary Bettman did say we're not going to move anybody. Gary Bettman I just quoted him, said we're not looking at moving anybody. And the other thing that I love...
Burke and G-Baby are like this.
You've got a fan base there that's hockey mad. Mm-hmm. They love that team. Mm-hmm. If you tear that hockey team away, you will find a billionaire more than willing to put a team in there.
Yes. Well, so that
because it's already built and the arena's paid off.
I think it was someone from Flames Nation was talking about, I can't wait till the Carolina Hurricanes play in Calgary.
Like they'll just put another team in.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah.
So now you've downgraded your market.
So you're going to move because you need a new building? Like that's why?
And I mean, listen, the arena was flooded recently. It will never be the same. It's not a good arena anymore.
No, I don't think anyone's debating that. I am not business savvy enough. I don't know. Some public funding sounds like it makes
Sounds
some
reasonable.
sense. Some sense. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't know any better, okay? So don't be like, Steve thinks that... Look, I'm saying from my uneducated standpoint, I mean, there's concerts there. It would bring artists there who would otherwise avoid the city, pump all this money into Edmonton. It seems like there is some benefit to the city, but what are the Flames proposing? Are they proposing that the city pay for the whole thing?
That I don't know. Again, I haven't looked at the full business plan. My suggestion would be...
Because their mayor Nenshi, I think, is totally against
Oh,
this.
yeah. And I think that he's against
From what I've heard.
what we've seen and what you brought up,
What
Jesse.
happened in Edmonton, where taxpayers had to pay for the arena?
So they paid for the... Edmonton taxpayers paid for the whole thing?
Not the whole thing. Most.
It was a good
of
chunk.
Yeah.
And
I don't
let's
think
not
they should
pretend-
have to pay for the
And is it
for most
Nenshi?
of it.
Nenshi.
Nenshi said that's not happening.
Yeah. And Daryl Cates bullied them.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was there, I remember waking up one morning to a quote from Daryl Cates, the first one where he said, well, we'll just leave. So now the Flames are doing the same thing. And I find it just really funny. You've got a built-in fan base that you spent 35 years building this fan base up and you're just going to leave? I don't think so. No, you're not. What I think makes sense for the Flames and what might make sense for the city, because Calgary really runs their government a lot more like a business. Alberta on the whole does too. It's not just because these organizations, these sports organizations, they always want money without strings attached. Okay, you give me $250 million in tax money, but we'll do some special tax thing, but I don't want to have to give you that back, and I don't want to have to answer to you, and I don't want to have to do any of that stuff. What would make sense to me for the city of Calgary is if they are paying for part of the building, 50%, 20%, whatever percent you want, then they make profit off of that building, and that goes back into the community. I think that makes sense. And they own a piece of that land. They own a piece of, say there's condos that go up because they always tie that in, condos or restaurants or whatever. They make a piece of the rent money. So it's income for the city of Calgary. I think that makes sense over the course of 10 years. But I don't see this whole special tax area stuff. It doesn't make sense for these districts.
Another thing, imagine them stripping an NHL team away from where Hockey Canada has their headquarters. Hockey Canada headquarters are in Calgary.
It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Jesus.
To me, it sounds like this is one guy who got hot and heated and spoke out about something he shouldn't.
Ken King did say the same thing.
No, but Ken King came out and said that doesn't represent
my
us.
first impression when I heard this is someone is telling Burke to say all this. And then I guess he added a little too much Burke seasoning to the Ken King recipe.
Yeah, because Ken King
had to go, okay.
About a year ago, I don't know if you guys remember this, Ken King came out and said, oh, we won't threaten to leave, we'll just leave.
Which I think is what Burke brought up there, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like Ken King's statement.
Just leave.
Ken King's statement goes against what Ken King previously said publicly.
Mm-hmm. Ken King also doesn't own the team.
No, but he's
Murray
been the
Edwards,
president there since
who's
Atlanta.
A billionaire owns the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, and I think he mentioned him. Maybe I was getting confused.
Yeah, Murray's I think, majority owner in that. Anyway, it's a very interesting situation, but
Calgary's not losing the Flames.
I think there's a lot of bluster for really no reason. They'll come to an agreement, something will be worked out, and it will just not be the I think the Flames want the deal that the Oilers got. Mm-hmm. The Flames will not get the deal the Oilers got.
Flames should be mad at Daryl Cates.
As if they didn't have reason enough.
I know. But seriously,
like they won't. They just won't.
You got a mayor who's like, not me.
But I think
not me.
Edmonton needed the Oilers downtown more than I think Calgary does. And it's not that Calgary doesn't need the Flames to be downtown. I think Calgary has part of the revitalization project of Edmonton's downtown was this arena, right?
Yeah.
Calgary, I mean, it's a little empty on the weekends. I won't lie to you. I mean, but it's not like downtown Calgary is shabby. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely beautiful. There's an enormous mall there. All the headquarters for all the oil companies are there. Like the radio station I worked at was just across the bridge.
Not a crazy surrounding area, but they're close enough to big things like Banff.
And 17th Ave is not far from downtown, which is where everything happens. So
Nenshi said the exact same thing. He said they needed to try and revitalize their downtown. We are in a completely different environment. So,
and Victoria Park, where the Flames arena is, they just built a bunch of new condos there, which were flooded literally the year I left. And that land is all Stampede land. So really, they're going to have to put if they want to keep that land up, they're going to have to just like build it right there. They have
Here's
to build
a
it in the same
question.
spot.
How long has Mayor Nenshi been in office?
Oh God, a long
and
time.
what is the law on how long you can be in office?
Mayor, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You can be in forever and ever.
Yeah,
Amen?
well, same with Canadian prime ministers. They can be in as long as they want,
Yeah.
as long as they keep getting
Are you
elected.
sure?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could run for 100 years if you want to.
yeah. As long as
they
you keep getting
voting
elected.
you,
Trudeau was.
Oh.
yeah. I think he was in for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Chrétien was for
Oh,
sure.
Chrétien got 3.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hazel McCallion. She was literally the only
Oh,
mayor
you're right. How did I-
Mississauga's ever had
I'm
until last year.
So I was going to say maybe they're trying to wait Nenshi out.
No.
They will not wait Nenshi out. Man,
No.
when I got
Good.
there, Nenshi had just won, and he was insanely popular. And he's insanely popular.
Is he still?
Yes. Because, and there are people that don't like him, but he's insanely popular because he rides the line between business interests, which are Calgary's economy, and social interests, which are, moving progressively forward. So
Jesse just gave me a quote from Nenshi. Looks like it's on thescore.com. I want it to end in something that doesn't look like Edmonton. That is a deal where any public money is very clear. Wait, sorry. I'm going to screw this up. I want it to end in something that doesn't look like Edmonton. That is a deal where any public money is very clear and it absolutely leads to public benefit, the mayor said. He added, the Oilers had a very different situation. They had a derelict part of their city. They hadn't had a skyscraper built in the downtown in who knows how long. They needed to try and revitalize their downtown. We are a completely different environment. To ask for that deal in a completely different environment isn't going to fly with taxpayers. It just can't be, give us the deal the guys up the road got. Okay.
which is fair.
So he's saying no money.
Yeah. Well, and if you're
None.
Now, if you're a billionaire and you want a team, you got a free arena. You have to pay your what is it? $500 million
Relocation fee?
No,
Or-
expansion fee. Just the expansion fee
Well,
is
it
$500
wouldn't,
million.
it wouldn't be
Yeah,
expanded.
it wouldn't be expansion.
Okay,
so.
but what if no. If the Flames left
Yeah.
and you're a billionaire and you're like, I want a hockey team. They would have to, let's say they wanted to expand.
Yeah.
They pay the $500 million expansion fee. They don't have to worry about the arena. They don't have to worry about the fan support. It's there. Like that's a tailor-made city for that.
Oh.
And the money's there.
Oh, you mean if this current Flames left and somebody else wanted to come in and put new Flames there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would have literally, it would be the cheapest expansion ever.
You probably have to build a new arena at some point.
At some point, but you'd have a free arena to start when
Yes.
times are tough for the first 5 years, right?
Well, I mean, I don't want to dump on Winnipeg, but they're not playing in the best barn. And they're making it work. I wonder what they are like financially, though. Are they making money?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think we mentioned this before.
Equalization payments.
I was like, I got to imagine Jets tickets are expensive, and I got a lot of tweets like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they
and there
are."
are less of them too, right? I think it's 15, 16,000 they have.
I think it's a hair under 16. I might be wrong.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting situation, but there's no I'm sorry, the Flames just don't have enough cards in their deck to push this. You got to work with what you got. Yes, be a tough negotiator, but threatening to leave is literally the last card they have.
You hear the Ty quote?
The Ty quote?
Yeah.
No.
He was talking something about taxes, and he was like, most intelligent people understand this. And someone goes, most intelligent people know how to tie a tie. I'm guessing it got a little heated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't disrespect Brian Burke's opinion or where he's coming from, but I don't think he's correct.
Or willingness to field that kind of criticism.
Yeah, good for him.
I overheard when he was with the Leafs that Marley season seed holders. He had to talk to Toronto Marley season seed holders, and they were yelling and screaming at him because the Marlies were really bad at the time, and they were telling him to fire their bum coach, who was named Dallas Eakins, by the way.
Oh, that wasn't his fault.
He ended up being pretty good. Well, no, because his Dallas Eakins' first year
I don't know if
with
the
the
city of
Marlies
Edmonton agrees with
No,
you.
I know. But his first year as Marley's head coach was bad. But then he went on to be so good that he became Edmonton's head coach. And
Edmonton was Edmonton.
And then stuff happened.
Edmonton was Edmonton before Connor McDavid.
Yeah, and then Eakins got fired and everything got better. Oh wait, no, it was still really bad for
another
a
season.
while,
No, that's
and then they
right.
had to get the best player in the world
And switch out the general managers.
and get like a bunch of other top 5 picks.
I was just mad when they got rid of their bold general manager, who boldly went and got the first overall pick and promptly got fired.
Yeah.
That was,
Yes, you're fired.
yeah.
Alberta, it's a silly place.
Anyway, interesting talk and interesting bluster from Brian. I would love to have him on the show to talk about it a little bit more and pose
cool.
these questions, because I think he'd be the best
I want
interview.
him and Mayor Nenshi on at the same time.
That would be fantastic. Nenshi is no slouch. He's a very well-spoken guy.
And Adam will be our Anderson Cooper in the middle of them two, trying to.
I'll be,
trying to fight
how's
them
your
off.
eye
I'll be a
roll game?
fat Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper's in great shape, and I'll be like, "Hi guys."
At the same size.
I know.
Hey, so people have left Nashville, and bingos, like you said, Steve. Rumors.
Really?
The day after the game finishes in Nashville, all of a sudden we're starting to get rumors. You ready for some trade rumors, kids?
Guys, we can't be doing work in Nashville.
It's Nashville.
There's coffee beer.
True.
Oh,
Damn, if I had that
Yes.
coffee beer near me more often, I would be in trouble.
yes.
Be in real big trouble. Coffee
Local
beer here is not good.
podcasters died this weekend because
Caffeine overdose.
they drank coffee beer for 12 hours.
Toronto, New Jersey, Tampa Bay among the front runners for Sami Vatanen.
New Jersey, man, there's another team who does not need to be as bad as they are.
They have a good goaltender. They've got Taylor Hall.
Tampa just, yeah, go away.
And it looks like they could lose. They could expose Alex Killorn and that bad deal.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Now, I'm going to pose a question because of those three teams that we mentioned, and I want to know what you guys think. Think about this for just a second. Will Anaheim come out of the expansion draft better for having had the expansion draft? That is, will Anaheim come out a better team? Because I think they will.
Interesting.
Basically, those three teams. Hold on, those three teams.
Addition by subtraction.
Yes, and the reason I say that, you're going to lose Sami Vatanen. Oh my God, you're going to lose Sami Vatanen. That's crazy. That's a huge guy to lose.
They can afford
We
to
do
lose
know that about 10 teams have lined up and called about him.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. I've seen conflicting reports on that little opinion. Some people think that the market is, I think it was Tyler Dello said the market could be soft on a guy like Sami Vatanen.
He is injured.
Right. But it's not like they're going to get nothing from him. It's going to be interesting what moves happen before the expansion draft and then after. I think there's going to be two blasts of moves. There's going to be the before, the prepare for our loss and whatever's going to happen. And obviously deals with Vegas, which I think there will be several. Then there's going to be the, we got out of that unscathed, or, oh God, we lost someone really important to our team. Now that Vegas is no longer a factor, let's make our moves. Like, Vatanen to me strikes me as a deal that as a buyer, you would like to make after the expansion draft. Because there's a guy you don't want to acquire players you need to protect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the whole point of them trading him is because they need to
It's
protect
because
him.
of the expansion draft. So the reason the Ducks would do that is because of the expansion draft, right? So, but like I look at the Leafs, for example, if they were to get Vatanen, depending on who they give up for him, you could lose Connor Carrick in the expansion draft. I would suggest that compensation for Vatanen would likely include Connor Carrick.
Well, that
Kinda
doesn't
makes
make
sense.
sense. No, it
Why
doesn't.
not?
Because then who are you going to have on the bottom six? You want...
Well, actually, you're
You
right. It
want
doesn't
Connor
make
Carrick.
sense, and
Yeah.
here's why it doesn't make sense. Then Carrick will just get claimed from the Ducks. So any compensation for any player like a Vatanen might have to include picks instead of prospects or roster players. The Ducks can't take on any roster players. They're already, even if they get rid of Sami Vatanen, risking losing a player like Jacob Silfverberg. And this is why I'm having such a hard time writing.
So here's an interesting thing, okay? So who do the Leafs have to protect, right? You got Kadri, James Van Riemsdyk, Tyler Bozak, Leo Komarov, and I'm looking down the list on forwards, and Connor Brown, right?
Matt Martin's a maybe.
Matt Martin's a maybe.
Leipzig, I am starting to soften my stance on. I think he might be a maybe.
And I have to give Pension Plan Puppets a shout out here. Their new executive editor, and I'm going to pronounce her name incorrectly.
Katya Nape?
I think it's Katya Nape, yeah.
I'll ask her at Puck Talks on
that'd be
June
great.
29th.
Please say hi. I love her work. She suggested this.
I don't think I've met her.
She's like, she gave 3 possible solutions for the expansion draft for the Toronto Maple Leafs. She's like, you can make a list and roll the dice, you can make a trade, or you can do what I would do. And I think what she said makes the most sense.
Ooh.
And I don't have it exactly in front of me, but we're talking about guys like Kirby Reichel, Josh Levo, Brendan Leipsic, and Seth Griffith. People are freaking out about losing any one of these guys, right? And what she said is, okay, yeah, they're projected, some of them to be maybe top 6 forwards on another team.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't care about losing any of them.
I am starting to get on board with that.
They're all wingers.
Is the difference between Brendan Leipsic and Kirby Reichel, 2 left-handed wingers, that huge? I don't know. I prefer one to the other, but I don't know if it's that big of a difference. Is there a huge difference between Josh Levo and Seth Griffith? I'm not really sure there is. I mean, if you look at AHL production, I think it suggests Seth Griffith is better. If you look at NHL production, though, which is what really matters the most, Levo's better.
Yes. Here's something interesting. On the
And keep in mind, you only lose 1.
exempt due to injury list, and we have not mentioned this. Exempt due to injury list, the Leafs included 2 players. Nathan Horton,
Yes.
Stefan Robida.
Yes.
1 player suspiciously not on that list, Joffrey Lupul. And she said, listen, I'd trade with Vegas right now before the draft any number of those guys. I'd give them any number of those guys if I just want them to take on Joffrey Lupul. She's like, I'd give him a couple of those guys. I would give them Kirby Reichel and Josh Levo, or Josh Levo and Brendan Leipsic if they took on Lupul's contract.
Now, does Lupul count against the cap?
Only until LTIR. So if they capped out, then he'd be put on LTIR, assuming that he's injured still.
Okay.
So he does count against the cap until they want to go over the cap. But the problem is when it comes to bonus rollover time, which happened this year, we are going to have a smaller cap because with LTIR, the bonus rollover for rookie bonuses still counts.
But we still have room for Lupul. And can he play?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I don't think they want him to play.
I think he can.
Well, I don't think they want him to play.
Here's my question. When does Joffrey Lupul's book come out? Like, when are we going to be done with this nonsense?
I can't wait to hear
No,
it.
his Players Tribune article.
Letter to his younger self from 5 years ago. Don't sign that deal.
What I did in my 2 years not playing hockey.
Actually, smart idea to sign that deal.
I was talking to the guy who runs Cap Friendly. I don't know if he wants his name out there, but the guy who runs Cap Friendly.
George.
Jorge, actually.
Okay.
By the way, that was a Katya thing. The Katya thing, the Joffrey idea was on her. I want to give her credit where credit's due.
I've heard it floated before. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think you got to give up more than one of just those prospects.
And I think
for
we have to
Joffrey
know
Lupul.
if he can play.
Got to know if his Instagram suggests he can play. Here is something. I'm serious.
Ridiculous that sounds.
I know, but there is something about Vegas that I did not know.
Okay.
Yet. So, the 30 players Vegas selects in the expansion draft must have a combined cap hit that falls between 60%, which is $43.8 million, and 100%, which is $73 million, of the 2016-2017 salary cap ceiling.
Oh.
So I didn't know that. You have the opportunity to build a team from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Odds are, with that knowledge, you're not going to be flying that close to the sun. I don't think Vegas is going to be that close to 73 mil, unless they take on a bunch of bad deals. If anything, I think they're going to have a hard time. How far above the floor is Vegas going to be?
I don't know.
You have the opportunity to build a team from scratch. You have the opportunity. They're the only team in NHL history with the opportunity to build a salary cap team from scratch. No one ever had that opportunity. It's part of the reason the Leafs were so bad for so long. They went for it hard in 2003 and in 2004. When 2006 came around, they were fucked.
For 10 years.
And they tried to deny that they were fucked and pretend like they weren't fucked. For close to 10 years. And guess what? Bad deal after bad deal after bad deal after bad deal. They bought out Ed Belfour. Like when the salary cap was like $45 million. His cap hit, I think, was only $750,000. That's a big chunk when your cap is only $45 million and you got to pay Jeff O'Neill and Hal Gill and Pavel Kabina and Eric Lindros and Matt Sundin and Brian McCabe and Thomas Caberlet and holy shit, who's left? Vegas has the opportunity to build a team from scratch. I will say it again until it is rammed into your heads. They don't need to take on any shitty deals. Or pick any shitty deals. If you have the opportunity to go to all 30 teams have one player who is good and is cheap. And they will take him from you. A lot of teams are spending too much on goaltending, and that's why I keep yelling and screaming. They don't need to take your expensive goalie.
Well, hold on, though. What Vegas does need are good young players.
Yes.
And
who are cheap.
Who do we have?
Good young players.
Who are cheap. So what if, and I don't know if this is possible, can you make a deal where you agree that the salary cap hit of Joffrey Lupul goes to Vegas, but you actually pay the salary?
Oh, retain salary on Joffrey Lupul?
Not retain.
Well, see, retaining.
Not retain. Pay. So
like Matt Fratton?
The Leafs send Joffrey Lupul and $5.5 million to Vegas.
I don't think you can do that. Like an NBA style deal?
Yeah, like
or a baseball style
deal? It's not
deal?
a retention. This is we're paying the salary, you take the cap
I don't think
hit.
you can do that.
And why would you do that when you could just take Griffith and not have to deal with that contract?
Or
well,
Sosh.
if Joffrey Lupul
If I'm Vegas, I want more than Seth Griffith.
Okay.
I can just take him from you.
Then take Sosh. But my point is...
and is Sosh enough? I don't think so.
If Joffrey Lupul can play, because he's not on the injury exempt list, if he can in fact play, then wouldn't you want a guy like that on your team who has played top six before? And you're getting him plus prospects. Like you're getting him plus prospects. Plus
I'm
guys
saying,
that can. Levo can play in the NHL.
I guess what I'm trying to say is Vegas, while at the same time they don't need to take on your expensive player, they absolutely can. They're able to. And I think they're going to fleece a lot of teams this summer. Well, as many as you can. There is still a cap. But they're going to fleece some teams. They're going to give us your garbage. Give us your garbage. Guess what? Firsts. Seconds. The world of them.
Is Vegas going to be actually good?
Honestly, I think they might be. I think the right move might be to make their team next year less good than it could be. Because I think if they just go out and they pick the best team possible, is that necessarily the best move for their future? I think the best move for their future is to make it a little worse by taking on some overpaid.
That's my point.
Overpaid dudes and take on firsts.
Well, how did
in seconds
Arizona took on Pavel Datsuk's contract last year?
That carnival act of a trade,
but they didn't.
Travesty.
But they didn't. But nobody had to pay because he was in Russia.
Right.
They also have taken on Dave Bolland and Chris Pronger.
At least they paid those.
But
guys.
Vegas won't be cash strapped. They should be fine.
Right, but I guess the incentive is you can spend that $5 million any other way, right? You can spend it on marketing. You can spend it on it comes out of the budget, right? So my point is who's paying Chris Pronger? Because Chris Pronger is actually still getting paid. Mm-hmm. Is it Philadelphia? Is Philadelphia still paying that? Is it an insured contract? That's what I want to know. Because if you could send, hey, here's Joffrey Lupul and his salary, you just take our cap hit for us, then to me that's worth any of those four prospects. Or Nikita Soshnikov.
Look at Kay putting me to freaking shame. I don't know what to write about. Guess what? Fire.
Their draft selection, it's top 4 protected, is it not, for the next couple of years?
Vegas?
Yeah. They'll get a lottery odds in the top 4 no matter what.
There's another aspect.
Wow.
So
I didn't
even
know
if
that.
they are decent, their lottery pick will be okay.
Jeez.
So maybe they should be actually good.
The Atlanta Thrashers would have lasted had they had that sort of lottery protection.
Here's the Leafs exempt list. Okay. Miro Aaltonen, Austin Matthews, Carl Grundstrom, Trevor Moore, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, Kasperi Kapanen, Freddie Gauthier, Jeremy Bracco, Andreas Janssen, Nikita Soshnikov, Dmitry Timashov, Tobias Lindberg, Zach Hyman, Sergei Kalinin, Nikita Zaitsev, Kalle Rosen, Andreas Borgman, Travis Dermott, Renat Valiev, Andrew Nielsen, Justin Hall, and Kasimir Kaskisuo. If I'm Vegas, I want at least one guy from that list. Forget your garbage that I can just take anyway. I want at least one guy from that list.
Well, and the Leafs, I think...
But they can't have it.
In a trade.
Yeah, if you want Doffy Lupul's contract. Let's just say you did.
If you want Lupul's contract. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, sorry.
Well, which is fair. Here's the other thing. I think the Leafs are counting on Levo and Leipzig leaving this summer. I believe they're counting on it. And the reason is, what are you going to do with them? They're probably not going to make the team.
Well, they don't need to be re-signed, though. Leipzig does, I think. Can you look that up?
They probably are not going to make the team. Are we going to have another Josh Levo, Frank Corrado consideration? Is that going to happen? I
just don't think you're going to... there's no way the Leafs could have 9 perfect seasons again. Close to 10. There's no way. There's no way. Whoever the extra forward is...
Well, it's not Kasperi Kapanen? It's not Nikita Soshnikov?
Well, no, because you don't... You can...
Because you can
let Josh Levo sit in the press box and not feel that bad about it. I don't think you should let Kapanen, who I think is still 20, sit in the box, sit in the press box. All right, so who do we got? Who we got? I got to keep reminding myself that cap friendly has already gone forward a year. So here's guys in the Marlies who need a new deal. Colin Greening, he's get gone. It. I don't know. I don't think so. Milan Mahalik, UFA, gone. Antoine Bibeau, RFA, potentially gone. Brendan Leipzig, RFA. That's going to be an interesting deal. Andrew Campbell, UFA. Seth Griffith is an RFA. Didn't remember that. Sergei Kalinin, RFA. Justin Hall, RFA. Brooks Lake, UFA. He's gone. Steve Alexi, UFA. And Garrett Sparks, RFA. There's another interesting one. Excuse me. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think Kat is onto something.
I think she's onto something. And especially the depth they have at wing. And you got...
Might also be Eric Fair.
You've got... Well, and she does go on to say, if they won't bite on Lupul, at least get them to take Eric Fair.
I don't think the Leafs are going to have someone picked.
I think they're going
to work out a deal.
And bringing in a Miro Aaltonen, to me, the reason I truly believe that they're expecting to lose one or both or all of the 4 prospects we mentioned, Griffith, Reichel.
I don't know about all.
Well, maybe in trades, though, is that all those guys have replacements. You know what I mean?
Cold. But it's very cold.
Like and they present problems for you because then you have to sit them on the major club without you know what I mean? And that's the
devil's advocate.
Also, just hang on.
Sure.
Where are the Leafs contracted? Like where are they at contract wise? There's only so many more contracts
Pretty
they can take
close to the
on.
Roof. Yeah. Interesting. Devil's advocate. Leafs don't care about hurting anyone's feelings.
No, they don't.
They don't care about sitting Josh Levo. They don't care about sitting Frank Corrado.
But if you can avoid it or you can get some value back,
they don't care.
Well,
if you can get some value back, great. But I don't think they really care. Otherwise, I mean, they're smart. If they get value, sure, they'll take it. But I don't think one thing that Lou Lamoriello does not have is sympathy for healthy scratches.
No. I'm just saying. I think she's on to something.
Oh, silly season. Let's go. Let's go. Sarah Hall was tweeting me about Mike Smith rumors.
Yes.
What's this about? Apparently he might move.
Well, he has submitted his modified no trade, which is basically there's 8 no teams on it. Now, Jesse, can you pull up Mike Smith cap friendly in Arizona for a second? I want to know how much he makes.
It's not good.
Because Calgary might be interested, but their first target is definitely Marc-Andre Fleury. That was reported. Yes. Mike Smith is 35 years old, but I thought, isn't that interesting? Wouldn't he make a great backup?
Backup? Oh, well, you're going to change your mind.
Mike Smith's UFA in 2019.
Ooh, I thought it was next year.
He's got another year going. And he makes $5.6 million. 5.666.
That's a lot.
And he had a good season. But no, thank you.
Dallas.
Thank you.
Elliot Friedman retweeted a report from a newspaper out of Dallas saying that if the Stars want a defenseman, they should be calling the Arizona Coyotes for Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Wait, what?
Which, I mean, yeah, I think anybody who wants a defenseman should call the Arizona Coyotes about Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But if he leaves...
Somebody should call Edmonton about McDavid if you need a center.
You know what? Can I send a message? Can I pen an open letter right now to the National Hockey League? I really need to, and I'm kind of drawing this out so Jesse can change the battery on the camera. But I really feel like this needs to be said, okay?
No, you can't say it yet.
Don't do it.
No.
Tell me more about how passionately you feel about what you're about to say.
I feel so strongly. You wouldn't believe how strongly I feel.
It's your right as an American to have that feeling.
Yeah. I have the passion of 10 Bridgestone arenas right now.
Wow.
That's right. And NHL, it's all your fault.
All right, let's go.
Okay, cameras
back.
Go.
Yeah.
we did not spend weeks and months talking about this shit for nothing to happen. I expect a circus with lions and acrobats, NHL. I want this to be the goofiest thing I've ever seen. I want this expansion draft and the draft that comes after it and the free agency and summer that comes to be the craziest off season in NHL history. I want it. I want this to be the craziest thing since the summer of 1967. Leafs Stanley Cup parade and everything, followed by the league doubling in size. I want to see the craziest summer ever. I am not talking about Ilya Kovalchuk moving and Mike Smith and Marc-Andre Fleury and all this other shit just for nothing to happen. I'm going to be so disappointed if nothing happens.
But more often than not, nothing happens.
Right!
This needs to make it for the last 5 trade deadlines.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. Because they've been garbage.
Terrible. Terrible.
I want everyone to trade for Keith Tkachuk like he's Wayne Gretzky, like the good old days.
And personally, I prefer the summer of 69, but whatever. Not 67.
Well, there is...
Nice.
I decided to use Summer of
was
67 because, I mean, Summer of 69 already has a song written about it. So
Yeah, but
also, that was a nice summer.
It was
It
nice.
was a nice summer.
Nice. The Oilers are talking to Chris Russell about an extension.
You bet they are. And they better be talking to other people about where's McDavid going. Let's go.
Yeah, it better not suck.
I'm
Cam
excited.
Talbot's going to play left wing next season.
I hope they
Let's
sign
go.
Chris Russell to that extension before free agency hits so they have less money to spend in free agency.
Oh, I can't wait for the Chris Russell to Toronto rumors to start to pick back up.
Martin Jones and the Sharks are talking extension, which kind of makes sense. Both sides.
No, they're not. Guess who's getting traded for Mike Smith? Let's go. I want silly season. Let's go.
How disappointed will you be if it doesn't happen?
I just screwed up your computer. Holy
You
shit.
bumped my hard drive. Very sad.
Jesse's computer's already on its last legs,
Yeah,
but
yeah, you shouldn't-
yeah.
Please don't bang the table.
Well, that's all we got really for most of the rumors. Like there isn't a heck of a lot else out there, but we had something. We have something. I did want to talk about this quickly since we were on the arena talk.
I want to see a 3-way trade between Carolina, Calgary, and Seattle. Let's go.
Me too. The
Yeah.
Seattle Flames. I thought you should know that there is an activist group suing the Pistons and the Red Wings and the city of Detroit. And this lawsuit is going through. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this from the Detroit Free Press. Oh, and there's Detroit Free Press's autoplay video.
I read this on a porn site.
Drives me insane. Can we stop with the autoplay videos on every website?
I hate it.
A federal lawsuut is seeking to block public funding of the Little Caesars Arena and a new Pistons headquarters. They didn't mention Detroit in this at all, which is hilarious. Or the Red Wings. And it has moved
But
forward.
it's Hockey Town, Adam.
Of course. Moved forward after an emergency hearing was held Tuesday following a Detroit City Council to vote to provide millions of dollars in tax incentives as part of the project. So I guess they've added on to what was already there. Government transparency advocate Robert Davis, who filed a lawsuit along with Detroit City Clerk candidate D. Etta Wilcoxon, said the hearing, which was before basically City Council is expected to vote on an additional $34.5 million in public funding tied to the arena project on top of what's already gone in, which is in the hundreds of millions. And remember, this deal was announced like the day after Detroit went bankrupt. Like this was.
Yeah. And aren't they, isn't Detroit on the up and up?
No, they certainly are.
Yeah.
Huge gains in Detroit in the
Can you
last
still
few
buy a
years.
house for $1?
Not for $1. I think you can in the
$5.
neighborhoods where they've cut off like hydro.
Oh.
Because there are neighborhoods where they just cut off hydro and they've cut off
God.
electricity. Which, if you do your own, you can dig deep enough into the earth and get the heating from the earth.
And I wonder how many people are just buying them to hold on to them.
Absolutely. But no, if you buy the houses for $1, you actually have to move in. That's part of the deal.
Actually?
Yeah, I think that's part of the deal. At least that was the auction a few years
It
ago.
prevents people getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, and if you have squatters move in there, this is the problem. They have squatters' rights. There are rights in the United States that are different from Canada. So if you move in there and you haven't paid rent in 2 months, you have rights,
Oh, wow.
even though you've done nothing.
That's crazy.
It's hard to kick people out.
Basically, the lawsuit seeks to block funding without a vote from Detroit residents. The public entity that owns the arena is expected to collect $726 million in school property tax revenues through 2051. The money will be used to pay off $363 million in public investments in the $862 million arena and the surrounding development district. Yeah. So a lot of money on the table here. And I guess Detroit City Council was going to put another $34.5 million in, and now they're supposedly trying to block that.
Interesting.
These deals, man. These deals. Watch out, Calgary. Watch out.
And that's obviously a city that can't afford it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad. I hope it improves there, man.
The Predators and Pens ratings are an absolute smash in the United States. Absolute smash. I'm reading
With the like button, Adam?
Yes. And that is very, very interesting because everybody's talking about the fact that here, I'm going to throw this up here. Monday night's Game 4 averaged 5.7 million viewers, which is a big deal. That's on NBCSN. That's not NBC. 3.2 rating. To put that into perspective, the second highest Game 4 audience came in 1995.
Whoa.
Yeah, they didn't say how much, though. Only the Blackhawks Bruins in 2013 at 6.5 million viewers recorded a higher Game 4 viewership in number. Okay, that's a confusing article thing. Preds Pens is also up 28% from Pens Sharks last year and 44% from Lightning Blackhawks in 2015.
Wow.
That's a big deal. That's a big, big deal. Wow. People are very, very interested in this, and I think it also has to do with the fact that the NBA playoffs have been a little bit predictable. That's kind of the price of watching great teams, right?
I saw that crazy LeBron stat last night. It was when he was on the court, in the 46 minutes he was on the court, the Cavs were +7. Mm-hmm. In the 2 minutes he was off, they were -12.
Yeah, and that's how they lost.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Did they just not score while he was off, at all?
They went on a 10-0 run for the 2 minutes he wasn't on the
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Now, I have a question for you guys.
He's really good, I guess.
Would you say that LeBron has ruined the NBA?
What?
No,
Would you say LeBron has ruined the NBA?
not at all.
No?
Because Fox Sports 1 would. And I can't wait for you to hear this clip. I've been so excited to play for you this clip, which is from a show called... you probably know
in the butt.
It's called...
In the morning.
It's called The Herd with Colin Cowherd. And
I don't think he likes when you pronounce it that way.
This guy's name is Rob Parker, and he has some stuff to say about LeBron. Enjoy the next 2.5 minutes
This
of
is
ridiculousness.
just another one of those American hard stance, hot take sports shows.
Yeah, literally.
Cool.
Ultimately, when LeBron leaves the NBA, he will have left it in ruins and has not elevated the game. When Michael Jordan left the NBA, all the kids, Colin, wanted to be like Mike.
Yeah.
People were playing basketball at a higher rate. It's like Tiger Woods when people started buying golf clubs and taking up golf on the weekends or whatnot. That was the impact. His 6 NBA finals are the highest rated finals. He was the ultimate winner. 6-0, 6 MVPs during the NBA finals. In LeBron's case, to me, most players in the NBA are followers and they look to the leader. LeBron is the author of the NBA Players' Declaration of Independence. He is the father of imbalance. He is the anti-parity. That's what he'll be left with, and that's where this league is. LeBron James has ruined the NBA, whether people want to admit it or not, and we're right in the middle of it. 3 years in a row, the same two teams are going to the NBA Finals. We're looking at 3 more years of this. You can't tell me that this is good for the league, and LeBron has a lot to do with it. I believe Kevin Durant would still be in OKC had LeBron never left Cleveland. Once LeBron did that and decided that he was going to team up with other players, people started to look at that and players and felt comfortable with it, that it's okay. If LeBron's doing it, it must be okay. The same thing. Popovich is to blame for the starting of resting stars, but LeBron also embraced it. So other players started to say, it's not the end of the world. If LeBron is willing not to play 5, 6, 8 games a year, it must be okay. Because when I look at Michael Jordan's log and look at games that he played all 82. His last season, he played all 82.
What is this?
He set the trend for the players today, and I think ultimately you have an imbalanced, terrible regular season. We just saw the worst playoffs ever. One team was 12-0, the other team was 12-1, lopsided games, and now we have a finals that I think will not be what most people are romanticizing about, which is this great 7-game series against these two Titans. I want to say that the Warriors are going to win in a 4-game sweep, but I'm going to give Cleveland 1 game. And I got the Warriors 4-1, and this will cap one of the worst seasons in the history of the NBA, where the regular season was trash, the playoffs was garbage, and the NBA Finals will be that as well.
Now,
not just LeBron.
He said that.
Goddamn Greg Popovich.
He said that on May 30th. So that was before the finals started. So far, at least as far as predictions go, he's close in terms of how the series is going.
So LeBron James is responsible for Kevin Durant going to OKC.
You imagine being LeBron and having that much power that you can decide that your rival's going to get better than you?
He ruined a $1 billion entertainment business all by himself. It's over.
Replace
basketball's done.
Everything he said. Replace everything he said with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Ruin the NBA. And you see how foolish it sounds.
Wayne Gretzky ruined hockey.
I think so.
He did.
The Oilers and Islanders ruined hockey. Never recovered.
That Garth Snow.
Cleveland. Not Cleveland. The NBA, I just want to say, with their garbage NBA playoffs and their garbage finals, I want to throw this out there. Remember how I said hockey, 5.5 million people watched Game 4? That's amazing. Mm-hmm. In the NBA, the first 2 games of the NBA Finals are the most watched since Michael Jordan's final championship in 1998. Despite 2 lopsided outcomes, they averaged over 19.6 million viewers each.
You know why a lot of people are saying this?
4 times. Almost 4 times what the NHL averaged.
Yeah.
You know why a lot of people are saying the final is so bad as well? I mean, yes, you hoped for more than a 4-game sweep, which this is shaping up to be. Never know. Hey, they came back last year.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just admit that people want the Cavs to win?
What do you mean?
No one wants the Monstars to win.
Well, they look at the Cavs as that
Golden State
with
to
any
win.
team with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving is no underdog.
Yes,
no,
they are.
Golden State is the Goliath here.
Okay, in
But
every
until
other
this
series,
point, right? Until this point,
No, Golden State's the Goliath.
When they were
done.
playing the Raptors, you could hear whistling.
Yeah.
But now that they're playing this ridiculous team, what if life was a video game and you can have duplicates of people? Would Golden State beat Team USA? Seriously. What's their EA rating? It's ridiculous. But is that LeBron's fault?
Game 2 viewership on Sunday, 20.1 million. In 1998, Chicago versus Utah, 23.1. And that was when people actually had cable.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Also, Kevin Durant's infallible, too. I don't know.
People just like him.
Yeah. People
and
don't
they just
like
hate LeBron.
And they like...
Except for Stephen A. Smith, who wants to fight him.
You don't want a problem with me.
I just think it's interesting that the garbage NBA playoffs and the garbage finals are setting records. I find that interesting.
Well, okay. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. You look at the season that Westbrook had last year. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that... this year. If you look at the season that he had this year, and if you put Durant right back where he was on that team, they might win. Last year, they were up 3-1 on Golden State, and they choked on it. And then Golden State was up 3-1 on the Cavs, and they choked on it. If you play those series over again, you might have a completely different outcome. Mm-hmm. The difference this year is Durant joined the Golden State Warriors. That's not LeBron's fault. LeBron's greatness ruined the NBA?
No, LeBron.
Have we ever said that about any great player in the history of
LeBron
sports?
joining the Monstars in Miami. Because they were the Monstars, Chris Bosh
and they
Dwayne
lost.
Wade. And they lost their first.
So
yeah,
super teams happen.
Yeah, it's sports.
Crazy.
Who cares?
Players sign discounts to be with. Would the Colorado Avalanche have ruined hockey if the Avalanche, when they had Solani and Korea, won the cup? Because what a like completely, not thinly veiled, unveiled hunk of garbage that team was.
Mm-hmm.
They had, I think their top 6, if I remember correctly, was some kind of combination of Alex Tanguay, Peter Forsberg, Milan Hajduk, Joe Sakic, Teemu Solani, and Paul Kariya.
Yep.
That's 4 Hall of Famers.
If the Pittsburgh Penguins
Korea, when he
win
eventually gets in,
back-to-back championships, are they allowed to have Malkin, Crosby, Letang, and Kessel?
And they always get players for cheaper.
It's too many good players.
You think if Justin Schultz re-signs with the Penguins, it's going to be for as much as he got as a UFA? So every UFA is it's bad. It's bad for the sport. I don't get it.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I just thought we'd hear a hot take. Now I wanted to suggest something. At the end of the season, we're not there yet. Once it's all finished, I want everybody to keep track of their favorite hot takes this year. Because I would like to compile a list of the best hot takes on our Reddit page. The best hockey hot takes.
The Scoville.
Yeah.
I am willing to measure the Scoville.
I think it'd be really fun to kind of go through after July 1st, like as our last double episode, like our last double episode week, to go
we're
through
going late this year.
The hottest takes of the year. And just kind of roll them back.
Yeah, to answer that actually, because I still get asked this a lot, we're going to be doing 2 episodes a week until the end of June.
Yes.
And then I think our last one will be, what did you say,
the
July 3rd?
first week of July
like
is free agency, so we'll do double that week, and then we will...
And then we need to
depending
recharge.
on where that July 1st lands.
Yeah.
Like if it's on like a Saturday. Then if we
July
do, like,
1st
Wednesday.
lands on a Saturday this year. Monday's the holiday because we have that Canada Day. So I'm thinking the 4th and the 6th.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, July 6th would be our last double show.
Yeah. Now, we have to do our Bachelorette update.
Oh, dear.
Now, if you remember, DeMario was going to come back, guys.
Red-handed.
DeMario, if you haven't listened, 2 episodes ago, have a listen because we're not going through this again. Oh. DeMario had another girlfriend. But at the end of the episode, as Jesse rightly pointed out, there was no rose ceremony. DeMario showed up for the rose ceremony, and he wanted to get back into Rachel's good graces.
So did The Bachelorette squeeze 2 rose ceremonies into the show that we missed?
I believe so. But yes, they did. And I can tell you why, because there's 2 parts that we need to talk about. So first off, this is DeMario coming back, and it's right at the beginning of the episode.
Off the show yesterday because his apparent girlfriend just showed up to the basketball game and called him out in front of Rachel.
He's right there. Wait, what?
Wow.
DeMario's here, which I am floored by. Yesterday, I sent DeMario home, and as much as what he did hurt me, I think it took guts coming to the mansion tonight. And so I feel like, out of respect, I should give DeMario a chance to explain himself.
No, you don't. That's what the producer said.
Rachel.
They shake hands.
Thank you for seeing me tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that yesterday I completely up. One of your mottos was keep it real, and I didn't keep it real with you. But I want to let you know that I can't let you go.
No, DeMario, you did not fuck up yesterday.
You fucked up months ago.
Yes.
When you knew you were going to be on this show. It's not like this, oh, surprise, you're going to be on The Bachelor. You know.
What you should have said was, Rachel, I know I got caught for fucking up for several months yesterday.
Yeah. Now, let's keep going.
Chris, what's going on?
Chris is the host, just in case you're new to this.
Back this a little bit for me here, all right? Yes, sir.
Yeah, give him a little space for a sec. What's going on?
Oh, he looks like a guy who's like trying to save his ass. What he looks like.
yes, I did mess up with the Lexi situation by not being 100% truthful with you and with her when everything came out here. That was just being caught completely off guard. But what I'm saying is right now is that I want to be able to move forward from this. And I understand that your trust is something that I might not be able to have right now, but I want to be able to gain that trust back. And I feel
Well, you have to see her face, too.
Well, a little speech thing. If someone's doing that to you, they're not listening to a friggin' word you're saying.
like the number one way for me to be able to do that is by me coming here, speaking to you, and hopefully be on that panel tonight and see if I can earn a roast from you.
Are you kidding me?
He wants to get the trust back within the 10 minutes it's going to take her to get back inside and get the roast.
But
If she's vulnerable, feels bad, maybe made a snap decision, let him go, then yeah, he could very easily sneak his way back in.
Yeah. And the thing about him is he's a talker. Look, he's yapping away right now.
These are all the other guys.
Is, in order to experience joy, you need pain. And I realized these faults last night, not being able to sleep. So I'm begging this from the bottom of my entire heart. Will you please give me another chance to come into this house? Because I feel like that you and I really can be something. My Uber ride up here, I explained to my driver that I was going for the woman of my dreams. And he said, you know what? Don't take no for an answer.
And
When
the
I
Uber
met
driver.
you,
Okay.
my entire life changed. And I do give you that
And
100%.
I'm not saying that what you're saying is not true. I just need you to understand. I need a man who, when they're confronted with a difficult situation, they don't start lying about it. I need someone who owns their mistakes when they're presented to them. And I gave you time after time after time standing in that gym looking like a damn fool to give you an opportunity to explain yourself. And to be honest with you, if you had been like, you know what, Rachel, I up. This is what the situation was right before I got here, but this is why I did it. You honestly probably would be in the mansion right now, but that's not what you did. And what I saw in the gym yesterday, that was a boy. I'm looking for a man. And I feel like I have some amazing men in that house who are here for me. So I'm glad that you've realized that you should move forward, but I need you to know that forward isn't that way to the mansion. Forward is outside of it.
And that's the end. That part, anyway. I thought that
was a boy.
Rachel!
Oh, my goodness.
And you know what? You're absolutely right, Stephen. We mentioned it in the last episode. When somebody's going,
correct. Yeah.
When you're lecturing them, they're not listening to you. They're thinking about their next response.
She's a cool chick.
She's awesome. And
Oh, do people not like that word? I'm sorry.
okay. Well, I don't think you meant any offense by it. So
she's a
she's
great woman.
an awesome woman.
Lady.
I've said that from the beginning. Now, Lucas. Boom!
Oh, no, Adam. That's not it.
Do it. Do it.
Boom! I have a concussion.
Did you know that Lucas actually knows another guy on the show?
No.
Yeah.
Was he like Waboom?
Lucas and one of the guys from the show, and a guy named Blake, actually are from the same town.
Oh.
Which made it super awkward when they both got eliminated. Because a fight that was going on for the first 3 episodes of this show that they never actually showed on TV, and a rivalry that was there, finally came out. Yes, and this is the fun clip, right? Because that Rachel clip, that was all right. But you want to see drunk Lucas?
Oh, I'm going to come on your side.
All right, here we go.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry. If you did not receive a rose, take a moment, say your goodbyes.
Blake and Lucas. There's hugs. They throw it out.
Oh, Waboom looks so sad.
Thank you so much. I guess it's always been fun with you. Thank you.
Lucas is drunk, by the way.
Honestly, I didn't expect this.
Is that Blake?
It's just unfortunate that I was in the same category as that drama. I know. I get it.
So Rachel's not about that drama, but there was some drama with Lucas and with Blake. And Blake's like, I really wish I wasn't a part of this, but I guess there was a rivalry going on with the house.
But we never saw
I got
it.
sent home tonight.
You sort of do,
It's just disappointing.
but it was bigger than we thought.
The feud between Blake and I was the biggest trash. Literally trash.
So pissed. I am genuinely shocked The fact that I'm going home with the clown, he ruined it for the both of us.
Wow, so it's not about her, though. They just wanted to be each other.
Get the chance to spend more time with Rachel.
It's not a video game,
no,
kids.
I'm not going to because of a waboom. I hate him. It's a shame. He lives in my town. I can't get away from him.
I don't give a about Blake. You're some workout dietitian. At this point, I would say nothing to Blake.
So here's the thing. They're doing the exit interviews out on the driveway of this house that they're all staying in. And Lucas, Waboom guy, is super hammered, and within earshot of Blake. Now they hate each other. They're from the same town, so Blake is listening to him go. He's an effing workout dietitian. He's nothing. He's nothing. So here's where it gets fun.
Careful, buddy. He looks like it too.
Stupid Waboom. What up, Lucas?
What's up, man?
I just want to say, you, bro. You're a piece of. You're here for the wrong reasons. I got drug into your. I see right through you. I know why you're here, and it kills me.
Why am I here?
You're here to be on TV.
And why is that?
Because you are a wannabe comedian. You're
Lucas Clown!
I can't help but feel like if you weren't here, I would have had a real shot at getting to know Rachel. But because you were too busy and making a joke out of this experience, I'm going home. You win, Lucas. Waboom.
Yeah. Thing is like, it's not about winning. It's about the world, brother. It's about the world. And you have no idea what the world means.
You're the Waboom clown. I'm the nice gentleman.
Go back to your protein shakes. Go back to your steroids.
I'm just gonna let you speak for yourself.
Yo, he's hammered.
Garbage clown life, dude.
My clown life?
Yeah, because
I'm a clown?
I'm a clown.
No, hold on.
Because I can be funny.
No.
You don't even know what funny looks like.
Funny is not Waboom. Waboom is like, waka waka, pie in the face, waka waka, fart joke. Like, if somebody said, how would you summarize Lucas in one word, I would say, Waboom.
Shut up, you're
I'm
jealous.
not a failed comedian, I'm a personal trainer.
You're a failed workout.
How am I
want to call
a
yourself
little workout person?
Okay.
Will you do that well?
You're a failed comedian.
Just
Stop doing that.
Stop. Just be Lucas.
Okay, so stop.
Okay.
Just shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth.
Yeah, shut your mouth. Right.
Let me know when you change the world one Waboom at a time.
See you later.
They have to go back to the same town. Don't tell me that's not great television.
Don't tell me that's not going to end up in a bar fight.
Oh,
with one guy landing in a pile of peanut shells.
Yeah. Hey,
where are they from?
I don't know. I have to find that out. But those are two guys close to the 30th birthday.
Oh,
So-
that's
how they argue.
Perfect.
Holy smokes, those guys are close to 30?
I'm pretty sure they're close to 30 or over 30. They all look older.
Luke looks awful.
Well, maybe he's over 30. I don't know. Man.
Also, he's hammered.
Did you see the Marner
I
teaser?
saw the video of me snoring. I didn't look good.
Marner teaser for NHL 18 that was leaked?
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Not leaked.
Oh, I heard it was leaked.
No, it was posted.
No, released.
Literally.
Yeah,
posted
released.
by
Released.
EA
Okay.
Sports, yeah.
Okay.
Because
sorry.
there have been legit rumors that Austin Matthews might be on the cover. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting that the...
Thought it was great.
Well, because the Leafs for so long were not marketable.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are.
Well, it's take it to the 4.
Oh,
Like Austin Matthews. Which I still get tweeted. People are like, have you guys heard this song? I'm like, yes, I've heard this
No.
song.
I think, oh my God, that needs to be one of the tracks, like one of the soundtracks for NHL.
In the game?
Yeah.
Take it to the 4? Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you can select what your background is. Like, I always have Nazem Kadri looking at me.
Yeah.
Because I selected the Leafs as my background. I want Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews.
Speaking of Austin Matthews, tattoo?
It's a tattoo.
Okay.
It's a lion. Why are people pretending like lions don't mean anything? Like, why are people pretending like it must mean...
He's got a crown. It's Lion King.
Yeah,
like, it's clearly Lion King.
He really likes Bailey from the LA Kings. Like, what does it all mean, man? No, people get lion tattoos when they think they're the king shit.
I like that.
If you were Austin Matthews, would you feel that way? Yes, you would.
There's a lot of detail on the tattoo. It's very nice.
He's rich. Everyone's like, "Oh man, his tattoo." Yeah, he's rich.
I forgot
It better
this.
be good.
I forgot this. The cool tweet from Matt Martin yesterday saying, "Hey, nice dangles, Mitch,
Yeah.
but I don't know how you went from white to black tape in one."
Somebody in there fucked up.
That was a good note. I didn't notice that.
Somebody down in Vancouver fucked up.
I didn't notice that at all.
No?
I didn't.
I didn't
Well,
notice.
no. And then I rewatched it
Oh, okay.
after I saw the tweet, and I was like, Damn, Matt Martin, that's attention to detail. You should be a goalie.
Or he watches a lot of tape and notices little details.
Notices
Part
little
of the
details.
bad puck philosophy.
You ever seen the interview of Matt Duchene? I want to say it was like a year or two after he was drafted. And they just start listing off all these old guys from the Avalanche. Like, you know, guys from when he was like a younger teen or preteen. When the Avs were really, really good. And they're like, Peter Forsberg. And he just goes, blah, 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 blah. Names the exact stick make, flex, tape, everything. Joe Sakic. Stick, flex, everything. That's attention to detail, my friend. These guys are smarter than they let on. You just got to ask them the right questions.
Right.
I always heard that about Dion Phaneuf. I never got great answers out of him. But supposedly, if you ask him about cars, he goes from, 110% to, I'm glad you asked.
Okay. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear a car interview with Dion Phaneuf. Anyway, so Lucas, our boy, gone. Turns out he was a bit of a clown, failed comedian anyway.
Well, I went to his YouTube channel after the first episode.
He has a YouTube channel? Why did you not share this information?
I thought I did. Well, and all the videos, when I saw it, had like 75 views. Not 7,500. 75.
Oh. DeMario will be on this summer's Bachelor in Paradise. He'll be on the next Bachelor in Paradise, just so you know. So if you want more DeMario, he'll be back. Okay, I guess we got to do the press conference now.
Only one thing today.
Oh.
It is from Neon Rose on Reddit.
Yeah.
He linked to an eBay post by a woman who's selling her white gold engagement ring.
Oh.
It is Marquise cut. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Can we look that up?
But it's Marquise cut.
I assume.
I don't think it's important.
Good.
But the description of what happened, of why she's selling this, is important.
It's an oval-shaped diamond.
Cool. So you know when you're engaged to be married and then suddenly your fiance starts spending a little too much time with his friend Brad? And you're like, hey, it's okay. Brad's a great guy. He's pretty buff, and he's a laugh, and his fashion sense is amazing.
Oh, no.
So then your fiance starts not coming home at night because he and Brad had a wild one, and he comes back walking a little like John Wayne at 4 p.m. the next day, and you think, wow.
Oh, my God.
No.
It must have been wild ones since he can't walk straight anymore. They must have had a good time. Good, clean fun together.
Is that?
And you buy a house and a dog together because that's what adults do. And you skint yourself into ruin. But that's what you do when you're in love, right? But then, whilst unpacking, you find a pair of bright pink stilettos in a size 11 and a long blonde wig and a dress in size large and a pair of white stockings, all of which definitely aren't yours.
It's never good when girls ask 13 rhetorical questions back to back to back.
That's when you know you're toast.
Sometimes, yes. It's an indication of anger.
It could be for Halloween, but it's March. But then your fiance stops wanting to have sex. And despite the fact that you have a great rack and an ass that Kim K would insure for $8 million by mistaking it for her own, you're wondering, what's wrong with you? In answer to all these questions, here I am. Single, living with my ex-fiance because we're both too skint to... She keeps using skint. Too skint to move out with a rock.
I guess it's broke.
With a rock the size of Gibraltar on my finger, wondering, how many other men have I turned? While sharing a tub of ice cream with my dog and screaming "why" at the ceiling.
You didn't turn anyone. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't exist.
This ring is beautiful.
But I mean, guess that's a blow to her self-esteem.
Brad probably picked it. He has great taste. But it just reminds me of my failure to grow. I'm going to skip that little piece. I'm looking for...
My failure to what?
No.
Okay, you'll have to explain
I'm
that.
looking for money so I can finish renovating this house so I can either sell the house and move on or be bought out by Brad so they can live happily together. It's an 18-karat white gold Marquise cut diamond, 4-claw with round brilliant diamond halo and diamond shoulders. Basically, lots of sexy little diamonds. Blah, blah, blah. Jokes. I almost married someone who blatantly loves the D. And that's what he wants to do.
Divorce?
To each his own.
Blatantly loves the divorce.
Yeah.
They didn't get married, though.
Yeah, I guess that's... Well, and thank goodness. You know...
What was the question?
In the event that she hears this...
The question from the Reddit page was just, hey, given the description, is this woman asking for too much money?
How much is she looking for?
4,600 euros.
Whoa, that's a lot of
10 grand.
Your dough. Was that like 10 grand?
10 grand.
1.35 carat white gold engagement ring. I don't know how much engagement.
Yeah, I mean,
ring
it
goes
sounds
for.
like an expensive ring, but that's a lot of money.
Is that how much they go for?
They don't have to.
Some.
They can.
Some.
Depends on your income level.
I'm asking you to because you know.
We made a deal. I've never told my wife what her rings cost. So,
I had mine built by a
very
direct
high end.
by a direct diamond person. So the price I paid was actually significant less than what it's actually worth. But that's because I am a searcher of deals. And
anyways,
yeah,
That's
this one's
it's a good
1.35
purchase to be a
carat.
searcher of deals for. You know what? I have a friend who wasn't the most similar situation to hers. What's her name?
She did not list her name.
probably a good idea.
This person. Let's call her Mary. Oh, I picked a bad name.
Yeah, let's call her. Let's call her.
Let's
Debbie.
call her Laura.
Person X.
Mary. Let's go with Laura. They bought a house with their fiance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. I bought a house with my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough that my fiance, as it turned out, is not lying to me. But this person discovered that their fiance
And
was
more
lying to
importantly,
them.
well, not more importantly, but also importantly, lying to themselves
Yep.
and
Yep.
everybody, all of their family.
And they discovered this about 6 months ahead of the wedding, 7 months ahead of the wedding. I was invited to this wedding. Had it penciled in. Eraser. But what I keep going back to with my friend, my dear friend, who heartbroken and it's awful. Thank God you found out before the wedding.
Yeah.
The house, that's ugly. That's a headache. That's going to be a pain. My friend was able to come to an amicable thing. So it wasn't as messy as it could have been, so that's good. But thank God you discovered your fiance was lying about whatever they happen to be lying about in your given situation before you got married.
Yeah.
You need to ask a lot of questions. If you're thinking about getting married, like that's what, I dated my girlfriend for 6 years before I made her my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
Ask a lot of questions.
So I have a question. If
not that question would ever come up.
Jesse, if you were dating a woman and you were completely in love with her and you wanted to propose and Steve and I knew that she was cheating on you, would you want us to tell you?
Yeah, why?
Because there are people that are like, I wouldn't want to know from my friends. There are a lot of people who say that. I would not want to know. Don't tell me.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that guy who was, I think, one of Diddy's proteges, I think. Wasn't he?
Mario?
Yeah.
No, not Mario. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Such a sad song.
I see. I would want to. Yeah, I would want to know. I would want to know that stuff. And my question in these situations is, not one of their friends suspected, not one of their friends thought, saw.
Well, I had a girlfriend.
Felt.
I had a girlfriend in high school where after we dated for like a year and a half, and after we broke up, everyone was like, "Thank goodness, we didn't like her," and I'm like, "Thanks, man." No one told me anything.
Because it can backfire on you.
I mean, maybe they were just hyping me up and being good friends. Like, you didn't need her anyway. But that's not the impression I got.
No, it can backfire
sounded like
on you.
Bottled up feelings.
You don't want to be the friend that gets cut off because.
Well, I've had that too. I've also had the on again, off again couple where they get off, and you go, good. Who needs them? Piece of crap.
And then
the next party you go to, there they are.
And they don't want to talk to you.
Hey there, bud.
So that sucks for her. But also, in the end of the day, I mean, at least she made a good investment.
At least they're not married.
They're not married. She's got an engagement ring she can sell.
Hopefully,
which,
her
by the way,
fiance-
is totally her right to sell after all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm usually on the side of give it back.
If there's cheating involved, no. Yeah.
That's the thing. They never have to.
No.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you invested in a house. You invested in a house. Good investment. Your money might be tied up.
This will be the best thing that happened to either of them.
Yeah.
In the long run. Right now, it sucks. Right now, oh, God.
Yeah, that blows.
Where did you even find that?
Reddit page.
That was in our press conference question.
What was the
Damn.
question?
Just what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
Shit. Sometimes that's all that needs to be said. Shit. You'd be surprised though. I've heard stories. Not quite like that, but I've heard cheating stories.
All right.
What kind of a psychopath do you got to be to? I mean, you're engaged to be married.
You're not.
Like-
I don't think those people are psychopaths. I think you should pity them. As much as they're doing shitty things to people, they are at war with themselves. They are in tremendous. Like it drives people crazy. Like it might be your upbringing. It might be the fact that you're afraid that your family, your friends, everybody will hate you. And yes, is it wrong? Absolutely. But you have to think about the pressures of somebody that grows up and doesn't want to be gay because being gay is different, and people for some reason make this big thing out of being gay that it isn't. And
I'm projecting my feelings for my friend's ex-fiance onto this person, which I shouldn't be.
You don't know the kind of war they're in.
Yeah, so that was different.
Mm-hmm.
That
Still
was
shitty though.
That was his cross to bear, but like, hey, I get that you have a war going on with yourself, but keep in mind that you're shelling my country inadvertently too.
Good point.
Leave me out of it.
Good point.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Hockey.
I want to end the show with something I found on our Reddit page, and that is Mike Francesa talking about hockey. Are you ready for this 30-second call to end our show? It's gold from Mike. Hang on, the internet takes a little bit of time. Oh, it's been fast all day. Oh, get out of here, internet. No, you're not going to do this to me. Here we go.
Here's my open letter to...
Jeff in New Jersey. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Mike. How are you? Thanks for taking my call.
What's happening?
That hockey game last. The crowd in Nashville is unbelievable.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a good game too. It was an exciting game.
I got a question for you. For the Devils, do you think they'll take Nolan Patrick or Nico Easter, number one?
I mean, you're just being a jerk. I mean, that's why, because I'm not this even paying attention to that. So you're just being a moron. Sal in Brooklyn. What's up, Sal?
And that's it. Mike just hates hockey, so anytime somebody calls with a hockey question, Mike doesn't have the answer, so he's like, "You're just being a jerk. I'm hanging up."
So it's like Bobcat with soccer.
Yeah,
Bob McCowan is.
Don't call me to ask about.
Don't ask about soccer. Okay, I didn't realize that was his thing, because I thought his thing was he talks about hockey, but don't expect me to actually know anything about it.
Yeah, no, I guess the guy was trolling him with the hockey question.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of... How do you host a show in New York and not talk about hockey?
I think it's pretty easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of other sports in New York.
I guess that's true.
Anyway, we're out of here. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next Tuesday, where we we'll either have a Game 7 to worry about on Wednesday, I believe, or we'll have a Stanley Cup winner that we can talk about.
Wow.
Very exciting. And then...
a whole new world.
And then Thursday next week... Not only do we have a guest, but it's the beginning of the expansion list, which is amazing. We have a special
the guest is next Thursday. I think I said this Thursday.
Yeah. Should we say who it is?
No.
Okay.
Because, what if they bail?
Ah, it's true. Guest bail. All right.
Go Chips.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.